Hey there! In this video, I'm going to show you a really high-level overview of the Senza developer experience. You'll learn how you can create an account and access some of the tools that we have in the Senza console and find out ways to learn more about developing on the platform. We're going to have a whole range of videos for you to watch that go into detail on some of these subjects. So we're just going to move real quickly to give you just kind of a flavor, a taste of all of that we've got. So if you'd like to get started and find out about how Senza works and the developer program, you can go to senza.cinemedia.com in your browser, where you can create an account. If you just click on the sign up button, you can fill in some personal details here, validate your email, and then when your account is created, it'll send you an email with a link to the Senza console. That's basically your homepage where you can manage all the resources associated with your account. That includes tenants, which are basically a way of deploying an app on the Senza platform, and devices, which can include our physical cloud connectors that plug into your TV, as well as virtual devices that let you use the simulator. Here's a little tour of what's on the Senza console homepage. We've got a list of your favorite devices with some quick links, and we'll go into some detail about how those work in a moment, as well as a quick summary of all the tenants in your account. The most common reason that you would want to edit a tenant is to change the application URL. That's where all the devices in that tenant go when they start up. So in this case, you can actually edit the application URL right here. Over here in the sidebar, we've got some links so that you can see all your tenants and devices. You can invite additional users to collaborate with you, and you can create some API keys if you want to call the Senza REST API. So let's go ahead and click on tenants right here. As you can see, I've got 2 tenants in my account right now, and I can scroll down and see some more information about my tenant. Over here in devices, you'll notice that normally it just shows you some of your favorites here. If you select a tenant from this drop-down menu, then you can see all the devices in that tenant. I'm actually going to go ahead and click into this one, and you can see some information about it, as well as the status of the device. I'm going to go ahead and add that one to my favorites, so that if I go back to the home screen, you'll see that it's now in my list of favorites. So why don't we try clicking on this simulator link here? What that's going to do is it's going to open our device simulator, which is essentially, well, it looks like a web browser, but really what it's doing is it's running a web app in the browser in the cloud, and then it's streaming it to the device, in this case, the simulator. You'll notice that there's an address field up here in the toolbar. Normally you don't need to type anything there because it'll just connect to the default experience, but if you want to go to a different web page, you can type it in here and then click connect. This tenant is configured to go to a little app which we call the Senza app that just lets you learn more about the capabilities of the platform and see some sample apps. You'll notice we've got a little on-screen remote control here, so if I click on the arrows, then I can navigate around in the user interface. I can also use the arrows and the return and escape buttons on my keyboard to navigate around as well. We'll have a separate video that goes into more detail on this particular app experience. There's also a way that you can interact with physical devices. So I've actually got a physical cloud connector device plugged into my computer so that I can see the output here in this window just as if it was plugged into a TV. What I can actually do is bring up the debugger for that as well. Normally when you're in Chrome and bring up the debugger, you're manipulating the web page that is in that same window. but our browser is running in the cloud. So we actually have a way that you can invoke a remote debugger by clicking on this button here. And that actually shows a preview image of what's running on the device, as well as the same familiar user experience that you would have if you were debugging a web page on your computer. So you can see that if I use the buttons on my physical remote control, then you'll see it update in both the preview of the video as well as the preview in the debugger. So that's a quick summary at a high level of some of the developer tools. Now I want to show you a little bit about the documentation so you can learn more about the platform. If you click on the documentation link, you can drill down into any of the sections. I'm going to start with just the home page. That opens up the developer documentation home. And if you click to get started, you'll see that there's quite a fair amount of information here in the sidebar for you to read through. You can learn just a high-level overview of how the platform works and how the integration process works of integrating your app to work on Senza. There's a quick start guide that'll take you through all the steps that you need to get started very quickly. There's an overview of the Senza Console, which you've already seen in this video, an overview of some of the developer tools, which again, you've already seen in this video. One of the most useful things is this collection of sample apps. You'll see that we have over 25 apps here that illustrate various useful techniques and programming concepts that you can copy and paste. We've also got some video tutorials that you can watch that walk you through in detail some of how these things work. You can also browse those directly on our Senza Developer YouTube channel. This section here goes into depth about our client library. It's just a little piece of JavaScript code that you can integrate into your application. That allows you to control what your device is doing. Normally when it's in foreground mode, it's streaming the web interface from your app from the browser in the cloud to the device. You have control over switching between foreground and background mode, in which the device is streaming video directly from the internet, and then the browser can go to sleep. We also highlight a couple of useful techniques, and we have a section on tutorials. Each one of these tutorials goes into depth in how to build one of the sample apps so that you can follow along line by line with explanations of how to write little bits of code that do certain things. So some of these are practical, some of them are fun, and you can go ahead and explore those. So that's pretty much a summary of the developer tools. And like I said, check our YouTube channel. We'll be putting out more videos all the time that go into greater depth in all of these subjects. So hope you enjoy developing on Senza. Thanks for watching.